stop breathing.
Welcome to SSU Live. My name is Rich Michelson, and with me today, Abe DeWeese, Brent Goodwine, and Matt Page. Hey, fellas, how's it going today?
Hey, what's up?
Not bad.
Solid.
All right. Hey, I am so excited for today's show. And our first topic, Seahawks preseason.
Woo-hoo.
Here to break it down are the fellas. We're going to kick things off with Abe DeWeese. What's your take on the latest Seahawks preseason game?
If I may, the one thing that I saw that really, really concerns me was the play of Russell Wilson. I sit there and I watch Phillip Rivers go 10 of 13 for 100 some odd yards. And I sit there and I see Russell Wilson running backwards, throwing with his left hand, getting an intentional grounding. It's going to be a big problem. Granted, that offensive line's not good, but we need to see better decision making like he has been doing for the last 3 years.
Matt, what do you think?
Well, that's fair. That's fair. But like you said, it's the offensive line. The offensive line has been atrocious. Russell needs a good, 2 seconds is a good number, good to aim for, and he's been getting like 4 milliseconds. I mean, defenders are just shredding that offensive line. We haven't been able to get a running game really going until they've got their reserves in later in the game, and it's looking really bad. It hurts to watch.
Well, that's not sounding very good, guys. Now, Brent, what's your take?
Well, I mean, he hasn't looked very solid. There's no really doubting that. But you also have to consider that Marshawn Lynch has had 3 carries this whole preseason, so he hasn't really played with the full offensive talent there. And once the real lights come on, I think you'll see a more precise quarterback back there, but he has struggled a bit.
Well, no, I'm going to disagree with you. Brent.
Yes.
Goodwine. He hasn't been making good decisions. And good decision making, you don't flip on like a switch. Not in the real season.
Well, that's a valid point, but, I hear from all over town that he's a gamer, right? And so The real games haven't started yet. I wouldn't be too concerned, but yeah, he does look a little bit rusty, and he hasn't quite synced up with Jimmy Graham yet. But all that's gonna take time, and once they can kind of get Lockett going too, I think they're gonna have some really good options going on. But it's gonna take some time.
Hey, thanks, Brent. I'm going to throw this back at Matt. Now, Matt, I mean, yeah, he's looked bad, but how is this any different than Major League Baseball spring training? I mean, Felix is going to look horrible. How is it different for Wilson?
It's different because it's a different line. It's a different casting. They drafted 3 offensive linemen in the offseason that was supposed to be more athletic and be more flexible, and they were supposed to be able to fill in the 2 big holes that Carpenter and Unger left. And these new guys just aren't stepping it up. And I get that, it's preseason, don't get worried, but this is the time when they're supposed to be gelling and they're supposed to be coming together. And I don't like what I see.
That sounds really, really scary. I mean, of all the positions groups on the field, the one that needs the most chemistry is by far the offensive line.
Yeah.
Those guys never go out unless they're injured. Even if you're blowing out the other team like 45-0, they never go out. So, Abe, I mean, is this a lost season? Like, what's going to be happening for our season?
It's not that bad, but I'm giving you the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is Wilson doesn't come back and make good decisions now that he's got a fat contract. You also have Tom Cable with his arrogance. I wrote an article about Tom Cable. Is this guy a genius or is he just playing crazy? Right. He has Drew Nowak, former defensive lineman, playing center. We drafted a Glowinski. Yeah, another defensive lineman conversion. J.R. Sweezy. Now, I like J.R. Sweezy, but let's face it, there is a cap as to how far these guys can progress, because they were already 4 years behind the 8 ball. They didn't get any opportunities as offensive linemen in college.
Okay, so I got a question for you, Abe, throwing this kind of back at you. First off, a couple things. Tom Cable, really proven NFL coach, especially for run games and offensive line. I really like that about him. I mean, he's always been able to scrape together somehow a manageable offensive line, if not a great offensive line. I mean, so that's the first thing I was just kind of thinking about. Second of all, I mean, if a guy can come in as a defensive lineman and make the team, doesn't that say something about your already established NFL offensive linemen if they're getting beat out by a rookie that, you know, really can't play the position?
Yes, that's the wizard behind the curtain. The emperor has no clothes. The guys who are there, Okun looked awful last year, and we got rid of Carpenter, who was okay, and we got we got rid of Giacomini a year before that, and he was actually serviceable. Yeah. So you're replacing talent with talent who has no experience.
Yeah. And it shows. It definitely shows in the on-the-field product.
All right.
Russell doesn't have any time.
Hey, Matt, Abe, Brent, I really love your take so far on the offense line, but we've got a whole football team to look at, and since we haven't been able to look at Marshawn Lynch, let's talk about Tyler Lockett, let's talk about the defense, let's talk about special teams. Brent, want to lead us off?
Yeah, this Lockett kid, I think they've really gotten a steal in a third-round pick. He was highly productive at Kansas State. I'm really not sure how he fell to the third round. Probably just because he's not, 6'4", 220 pounds, but super productive. And he's already scaring teams. So this is a guy with a team that doesn't look like it's probably going to be averaging 30, 35 points a game, that a guy that can get you some scores on special teams. This is a hell of a third-round pick.
I'm a little panicked about this. What if teams stop kicking to him?
Good.
Then short fields, right? I mean,
great 25-yard punts. I'll take those all day.
Yeah.
I mean, better than the 55-yard punts we were having. And who was the fool we had fielding punts last year? That all he would do is
Mr. Fair Catch himself.
Yeah, Mr. Fair Catch. I mean, he had something like 55 fair catches for the season. It was ridiculous.
Terrible. It was awful. Nobody pays their ticket to watch a guy fair catch. What we need is a Joe Jarzinka from the Huskies who never fair caught.
Never.
I'm not certain if his head is still attached to his body, but he never fair caught.
Yeah, sometimes the fair catch is a pretty solid option. So, but
okay, but it's nice to have a. Go ahead. Sorry, Ben.
I
Go
would
ahead.
say, but it's always nice to have that home run hitter though, and Lockett is looking like he's going to qualify.
Hey, Matt. How long has it been since we've had a home run return threat that A, actually saw the field, and B, didn't tear the locker room to shreds?
Well, we had...
That's a dig at Harvin. That's a dig at Percy Harvin, isn't it?
Really subtle
just
one,
a
though.
wee
a
bit.
little bit, yeah. We had Washington. Was it Leon Washington?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Leon Washington. Whoa, man, that was that.
Half a dozen years ago, maybe?
Yeah, we carried him just for his return game. I mean, he obviously wasn't helping us on the field in terms of running.
Right.
But we carried him, and he was good for 1 or 2 a year. And just that threat was a whole other dimension and really helped our return game. And I'm really excited to have Tyler Lockett on our team. I've been talking about on all of our shows since we drafted him, and I'm glad I'm being proven right.
Can I throw in my take on Tyler Lockett, which is this: the home run threat. He lines up in the slot. He lines up at split end, flanker, wherever you put him on the field. All of a sudden, I guarantee you, one of the cornerbacks is assigned saying, when Tyler Lockett, I don't know what number he is, but when he's on the field, your job is to cover him. And then he's signaling to the safety, hey, I need help deep. I need help deep. What does that do for our Pro Bowl tight end?
Well, it takes the heat off the Pro Bowl tight end. I mean, it's just like when we had Harvin on the field. It adds that extra dimension. It's one more player. Having Marshawn in the backfield, Russell lining up behind center. You got two guys who can run the ball either way, whoever knows. You got Jimmy Graham running deep. Who knows where he's going? You got to cover him. it makes defenses panic because they have too many stars to keep their eyes on. And so there will be mistakes, and there will be big opportunities for guys like Baldwin or Curse to step up and sneak some really big plays.
Lots of single coverage on the outside. It's really going to help. It's really going to help Kirsten Baldwin.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett went 2 catches for 17 yards. The problem is he was targeted, 1 catch for 17 yards. He was targeted twice, and the one time I saw him miss a ball, he was on the outside, lined up in that X. Is that the? Yeah. And
left split end.
Yes, this split end, basically left side, and he got bullied by the Chargers DB, and he needs to be on the inside on a 3-receiver set. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
But if he is, like Matt said, and like Brent said, it opens up things for everybody else.
No more bubble screens. So we can do quick slants instead, which is more exciting and more useful.
Absolutely. And I mean, you know who he kind of reminds me of is Deshaun Jackson. I mean, as far as that home run threat, he's small, he's quick, he's fast. If he could just get some experience like Deshaun Jackson has, you know how you start to not be bullied quite as much, even by the bigger cornerbacks that are becoming, kind of come into vogue. And that is actually my really great segue into let's talk about our defense. We had members of the Legion of Boom on the field. How did that go, guys?
I'll start off. I wasn't really worried about it. It's the 3rd preseason game. A lot of people make a lot out of that. But really what I was looking at was Dion Bailey, potential replacement for Cam Chancellor, Deshaun Shedd, also fighting for that strong safety spot, and my personal favorite rookie, Ty Smith, who is projected to be the backup to Richard Sherman out of Townsend State.
Matt, how'd they do?
I'm not worried at all about the defense. They're still working some kinks out. Some of our better players, our starters, are still coming back from injury and still just need to get in the flow. But defense is easy to get ready for. You make that first tackle, that first hit, and it all comes back. And it's not like the timing on offense, which takes a while to get in the gear. It's more, you just got to get out there and get that first hit, and then you're in the flow and you're feeling it. And nothing I saw really worried of me. Sheed really impressed me continuously, and Bailey is everywhere. He's making a little mistake here and there. He's not Cam Chancellor yet, but I like his potential.
Well, I mean, Cam's not on the field yet, but you know what you're going to get with him. You know what you're going to get with Earl Thomas too. But it's been really interesting to see Frank Clark really step up, and he is really tough to handle there on the end, and he just seems to be constantly making plays. Really got personal with Phillip Rivers, which is kind of interesting to see. But
what's so awesome about that play is, okay, for you longtime Broncos fans, he reminded me of a Carl Mecklenburg. He lined up in different positions on the line, and that play, he was lined up as nose tackle, bullied the center, and took down Rivers. Love it.
Yeah, he's definitely a first round talent that fell because of some character concerns, but it really looks like they hit on their 2nd and 3rd rounders.
So, I mean, it looks like we've got some good talent. I know that the defense, as it actually will be played, has not actually been on the field at all. But, hey, I was just looking over the stats here, guys. We've got 11 sacks in 3 games. You can't be upset about that, can you?
No,
Not at all.
not at all. But I did have a problem with Phillip Rivers getting 10 of 13 off these little 4-yard dink and dunk passes. Would like to see more of Ty Smith. When they have him up on the line, he's been jamming those receivers. That's what I want to see.
But see, here's the thing. We never play that all-purpose, completely shut you down defense. We always go for the big plays, and we always go, we're okay with letting up a little bit of room in order to tire out that offense and in order to potentially get interceptions, fumbles, mistakes in general. So we're never gonna. I mean, that's not the style of defense we play. That's what I'm saying.
All right, guys,
I'm not
it's-
worried about the little dinky passes.
Okay, so yeah, no doubt. Hey, y'all, it sounds like we've got some work to do, but all in all, we think that the Seahawks are going to be okay this year. Hey, we got to go to break now. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Da 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 da.
We're looking at Rich's rear end.
There we go.
So, slight problem.
Yes.
I don't know what the fuck you guys are saying.
Here's a head.
She's doing the hosting.
Put the
Look at
earbuds.
the. Well, look at the.
I'm,
Just pay attention to the Skype chat.
yeah.
Yeah, or take a look at the time.
We're aiming for the 15s and stuff.
Here, do you want these earbuds?
No, I'm
There's also a headset over here.
right now. Sorry, I'm distracted. Trying to load up a Periscope, that's all.
It is a Mariners jersey. I knew it. I could tell from the gray shoulders.
Okay. Here's earbuds.
Hey, Abraham, why don't you set up your Periscope to show you while we're doing this?
Okay.
Oh,
Running backs. Where's my phone? My phone's over there.
where?
I don't know.
Oh, he's got it because he called.
I do.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, I'll set up Periscope, not a problem.
I was trying to set up my own Periscope too.
I'll do it, it's not a big deal.
Should Rich just keep doing it? He's doing a good job.
He's doing a great job, let him just do it, yeah.
So help me out. Just say and I can't listen, by the way.
You cannot?
No.
Okay. Well, keep an eye on the Skype then.
Yeah.
Matt will type in break when... And it'll be about 8:30. Okay, we're
Yeah,
ready?
we'll aim around 8:30.
Are you ready to come back, Bob?
Are you guys ready?
Yep. Yes.
So were you guys talking to Rich just now, or is he?
I'm just messaged him. Look, you can see the Skype chat.
Rich, can you hear me?
No,
Okay.
I don't think he can.
Wait, why did he give a thumbs up? Are they talking right now?
No, they're on mute. They're ready to come back.
Oh, yeah, we're going back.
Welcome back to SSU TV. My name is Abraham Deweese. With us is Richard Michelson, Brent Goodwine, and Matthew Page. All right, it's fantasy football season. Everybody's looking for that one running back, the one that's going to carry them to the championship. All right, guys, I don't know about you, but it's hard to find a featured running back anymore.
Sure
What's
is.
going on here? How did this start, Brent?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. You go.
Well, I was just really excited to bash on Mike Shanahan here for a sec, because this is all his
This
fault.
is Shanahan's fault.
Totally his
How
fault.
dare he?
He's been ruining
That's
it
awesome.
for fantasy guys for a long time now. But yeah, it's really changed. There was like 6 or 7 teams in the NFL right now that you can really say have a featured back. So it's kind of gone the way of the old-fashioned fullback. You just don't see that much of it anymore.
Okay, Rich, can you give me a little breakdown as to why? What's the reason here? I know you're our resident SSU strategy guy for football. What's the reason that a Shanahan would issue a running back by committee?
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is, for a long time, and I'm talking like 50 years, the NFL has become more and more of a passing league. Okay, I mean that's the long and the short of it, is that teams just throw the ball more because they think that that's the better way to move the ball and score points. And for the most part, they're probably right. I mean, especially with the way the rules are written. I mean, if you look back throughout the history of the NFL, I mean, going way back to before it was really a credible league, it was a rinky-dink, like, just chuck the ball all over the yard. And then some guy named Vince Lombardi came along and ran the ball with the Giants when he was the offensive coordinator, and ran the ball when he went to Green Bay. And he did something decent there.
Okay, when Vince Lombardi did that, though, he was operating under the auspice of, I'm going to change things up. Eric Coryell came into effect in the 70s, and that kind of brought in the West Coast. But there were also offshoots that did run and shoot and air raid. Matt, why is there such a prevalence of air raid offense in college sports? And
As an
What
Oregon
makes-
fan.
In college sports,
Yeah.
in general, the defenders are not as good as they're going to have in the NFL. Let's just get that out of the way. Maybe one or two of the players on the opposing defense are NFL caliber. So they're easier to give aid, they're easier to get around, run past, etc. And it's much easier to find open spots wide downfield.
Is there something sexy in college sports about running the passing yardage count up? Because nobody's doing fantasy sports in college. Why would you why would you go with this pass heavy offense at places like Wazoo, BYU? Well, I guess not BYU anymore, but you know what I mean. A lot of the teams are starting to do it. Rich, why do we see such a prevalence of pass-oriented offense in college, which I suspect is the reason why we don't see featured running backs anymore?
I mean, it has an impact. I mean, the prevalence and the spreading of the so-called spread offense across the board in college football obviously has trickled down to the quarterbacks, the receivers, all the other position players on the offensive side, especially. And then, of course, what the defenses have to draft to be able to combat that. But as far as why, I think it's because finding quarterbacks that can work a system decently well is actually relatively easy compared to having like that amazing quarterback that can do everything well. If you got a guy say, hey, look, I want you to throw 5 different routes off the route tree, and that's it. And you're going to be doing a read on one side or on the other side, and that's all. And we're just going to use this system, and we're going to dink and dunk, and we're going to let our playmakers get the ball and do it. Kind of like what Mike Leach did at Texas Tech. He took a program that nobody gave a rat's about. And all of a sudden, they're throwing for 600, 700, 800-yard games. People are like, what is going on? Well, now what happened? Texas Tech is actually a decent-sized program. People actually care about them,
Right.
So, I mean, it's been effective. That's why we've seen it. It's effective.
Brent, I got a question for you
Yes.
about the best featured running back that you've ever seen in your life. I want you to give me one name of obvious ilk, and then who's your favorite to watch?
The best featured back I've ever seen is Barry Sanders.
Okay.
Was played on a crappy team with crappy quarterbacks, but just totally got it done.
You
My
ran
favorite-
in a run and shoot offense.
With Andre Ware and Scott Mitchell.
Don't forget Rodney P.
Rodney P.
Rodney P. That's right.
Scott Mitchell.
But my favorite guy to watch, and he has such a short career, and
Broke
it's
it,
pretty
Ram.
tragic, but Bo Jackson was a ton of fun to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Matt.
We're now
Same
11
question for you. Who was your favorite? Who's your favorite guy to watch? And then who do you think was the best of all time?
Well, Barry Sanders was my favorite to watch, but without a doubt. He was incredible. But best of all time, maybe Walter Payton.
Sweetness is a good answer.
Why Walter Payton over Barry Sanders or a Adrian Peterson or something?
I can't really quantify it. It's a gut thing.
You can't quantify it, can't qualify it, don't want to.
Don't
Got
care. It just is.
it. Rich, I posited the same question for you. Who's the most fun to watch? Who's your favorite to watch? And then who is the best of all time?
Favorite to watch? Wow. I've got to say Barry Sanders. I mean, just some of the nothing runs. I mean, the fact that he could be, have a 1 yard rush, 2 yard rush, 3 yard rush, and then be done, and then jitterbug for 95 yards was awesome. But the best of all time, Marshall Faulk, no doubt. Marshall Faulk was the best feature running back when he was healthy. Okay, he caught for twice 1,000 yards receiving, 1,000 yards rushing. Twice. No one else has even come close to that. He was the most dangerous weapon on the field.
Got a Mike Martz fan over here. All right. Well, you guys are all in the right ballpark as the greatest of all time. I kind
the
of
real answer.
No. You guys have good answers. It's the great answers. I fall in that Barry Sanders as the greatest of all time. Where you guys are wrong, as in the best running back to watch of all time, Derek Fenner. No. Marshawn Lynch. Derek Fenner has led the league in touchdowns. Anyway, Marshawn Lynch is the most fun running back of all time. You're wrong, and you're wrong. You out there are probably wrong too. It's Marshawn Lynch. Oh my God, Beastquake? You guys don't like Beastquake?
It just doesn't happen all the time.
Happens a lot when I pull it up on YouTube. Okay,
That's true.
before we run to break, I want to ask each of you who your top 3 featured running backs in fantasy football are for this year. For this upcoming 2015 year. Yeah, Matt, go ahead and start.
I can't have some time to think. Marshawn, Le'Veon Bell. I gotta stay with AP.
Adrian Peterson.
I cannot go away from AP.
That's true. He's coming back. Rich, I would like your top 3 fantasy picks for featured running back in 2015.
I'm going to go with Marshawn Lynch. I'm going to go with Adrian Peterson, Le'Veon Bell. I mean, it's just kind of boring there. Yeah, and I say watch for a big year from AP. I think he's angry. I think he's going to run angry.
He's gonna run angry. Definitely.
All right. And good wine. Who are your top 3?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Pearson for sure. For the exact reason that Rich just said. Le'Veon Bell, even though he's suspended for a couple games, I think he's going to have a huge year. And no offense to Marshawn Lynch, but I'm gonna go with Jamal Charles. I think he's gonna get a lot of touches this year.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with...
Wrong.
Oh, good wine. You're so wrong. The correct answers, of course, are Adrian Peterson, Marshawn Lynch, and Eddie Lacy. And we got to run a break. We'll be right back. When in doubt, shout them down. Matt, do you want to bring us back from the...
Wave to Periscope.
Hey, Matt, do you want to bring us back from the... Matt, focus. Do you want to bring us back? Okay.
I don't want to, but okay.
Go ahead and type,
Abraham,
go ahead and type up that you're bringing us back.
You can probably put your phone in that tape thing to hold it.
Okay, I turned it off. We got one that's fine for right now.
These 2 other people that are watching must be so confused. And I'm sorry for that, everybody out there who's watching, because this is a Skype web show.
I will type
and
it if
that
you're not
means
going to.
You're only hearing half of the conversation.
Bring us back.
Matt is bringing
So tune into YouTube.
us back.
And you'll get the whole show.
His
Yeah, we're
conversation.
broadcasting live on YouTube right now, so you can see our other 2
Oh, preseason?
participants as well.
Yeah, my topic. Okay.
And if you go to YouTube Live or YouTube right now and look for Seattle Side Up, you'll be the only one watching our live broadcast.
Okay, let's bring it back here in a minute, or in a few seconds, Bob.
Hey, tell them that.
Hold on one moment. All right.
Can you type I'm bringing it back in a few? Time to unmute.
Oh, I have 4 people watching. Can't figure out how to comment.
Okay, bring us back, Bob.
And we're coming back. And you are going unmuted now.
Ah. Welcome back to SSU TV Live, whatever we're called. Sorry about that.
Cut.
We're here. Yeah, cut.
Live
SSU
television.
Live. We're here. I totally have practice doing this. Don't worry about it. So we're going to discuss now preseason. Should it be shortened? Should it be killed altogether? Or I've been tossing around the idea with some people, maybe potentially just have a rookies only. You know, maybe like guys that are potentially not going to make the roster, undrafted guys, drafted guys, maybe guys with only like 1 year experience in the league. That way we preserve these veterans that we're continuously seeing injuries for, like Jordy Nelson, Kelvin Benjamin. You know, Randall Cobb had a scare yesterday. You know, we're seeing guys go down all over the league. And so I was just curious, you know, what are your thoughts, Abraham? I mean, should we cut it down? Should we minimize it? Should we get rid of it altogether? What do you think?
The rookie idea is terrible. I don't like it. Shouldn't be used. The best idea would be to minimize it to 2 games. But the problem that we're running into is the greedy arrogance of NFL owners who want 2 additional home games, and they want to screw people over and make them pay full price. I'm really tired of this, you know, and the injury thing I really don't care about. It really doesn't bother me. People get injured. What bothers me is those players don't get a paycheck for subsequent games, you know, based off of performance incentives. Now that bothers me. But the big thing that bothers me, you don't need 4 games. That's too many. 2 games is great. It's all a money grab, and that's what irritates me.
So would you be open to maybe just extending the regular season to 18 games as a compromise?
No, you don't need more games.
Okay.
You don't need more games.
Brent, how do you feel about this issue?
I also think that 4 games is way too long. 2 games is definitely enough to get it done. But unlike our friend Abe over there, I really do like the idea of having at least 1 game be kind of a summer league, you know, like the NBA does, type of a game where it's just guys trying to make the roster, or even some second or third year guys. Just a way to kind of see like the younger guys play. But 4 games is ridiculous. But 2 games sounds good. Those
And what do
greedy
you think about
owners.
that, Rich?
I think 2 games is sufficient. I mean, it's 1/8 of the season. 4 games is a quarter of the season. I mean, you don't see Major League Baseball having spring training for 7 weeks. I mean, you don't see it with soccer. You don't see it with basketball. I mean,
Wait, spring training is 5-6 weeks.
Yeah.
sort of.
Well,
Oh,
pitchers and catchers
baseball, not
report
just, you know.
like second week of February.
Pitchers and catchers report. It's like rookies reporting to rookie mini camps and stuff. I mean, it's the real spring training is about 3 weeks where the real starters are going. Compare that with 26 weeks of the actual regular season in baseball plus another 5 weeks of postseason. It's a really, really small section of the baseball season. Football, hugely violent. The hits aren't any different in preseason. I think 2 games is sufficient. If you want more money, have 2 more weeks of playoffs.
Yeah. Can I get back to the injuries for 1 second, Matt? Mm-hmm. The 25 injuries to ACL and MCL tears, I don't attribute to 4 games for preseason. That's been going on forever. The increase in the ACL and MCL tears, at least is what John Clayton states, it has more to do with fewer off-season training camps and less hitting in those camps. That seems a lot more interesting to me than four is terrible because there's more injuries. There's no more injuries. It's specific to one part of the body right now, but
So you're saying it's more because they go from pretty much no contact to all of a sudden full bore
0 to 60.
Yeah, 0 to 60.
Yeah.
So maybe we should increase the off-season workouts, have contact in them, and maybe it'll lower those injuries potentially.
I'd just like to see 2 games sliced off.
The main. I know ACL and MCL injuries. I mean, they're going to happen anywhere. They can happen anywhere. You can tear it walking up the stairs at home.
Right.
But the thing that bothers me the most is we're playing game 3 of pointless games, and you see some guy go down for the season, and it didn't even happen in a game that mattered. You know?
Right.
So it's not like he got a chance to at least play in like a quarter of the regular season before he got hurt.
Yeah.
He didn't even get to really play in a game that mattered at all.
Yeah, therein lies the rub for me. If it's somebody that's established, I really don't care. This Jordy Nelson thing's brought up. I think there's a lot of reasons that people love Jordy Nelson that have nothing to do with him and himself. But I think the main issue here for me are Packers are the America's team. If this were a receiver on Jacksonville, nobody would give a crap. That's honest. I'm serious. And
It's true.
True.
I mean, Kelvin Benjamin is a bigger impact loss
Yeah.
than Jordy Nelson is. It's just a fact.
But no one cares.
No one cares because it's the Panthers. I guess the Panthers fans care, but who care about them?
Yeah.
Let me get back to my main point. My main point, I don't want to take all the time here, but like, I will. And the main rep for me is somebody like, let's say Kason Williams, a guy trying to get that 6th receiver spot. If he gets injured, he doesn't make the team. They're going to cut him.
And he gets
course,
no
yeah.
money whatsoever.
No money whatsoever after that. Yeah, that's my issue with it.
They need to increase the practice squad slots,
Oh, yeah.
and they need to increase their pay, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, don't these guys get paid a little bit for the preseason? But it's like peanuts, right? I mean, compared to what a full contract is for the season.
Yeah, it's
So I mean,
nothing substantial.
how about you do the real thing and like slice up the game checks to include the preseason games?
Yep.
I mean,
You
just
fixed
to
it.
be fair. Well, I don't know if I fixed it. I don't know if I fixed it.
Done.
Resolved.
But I just want to bring up one other thing here, Abe. I mean,
Is that how you're going to
Look at
fix
college-
war in the Middle East?
sure, maybe. But let's just kind of compare to college football. College football has no preseason. I mean, they have their training camp. They go for 3 or 4 weeks, and they open up on Thursday, actually, right?
Against Sacramento
and
State. That's
yeah,
preseason.
against crappy teams for most part. But I mean, there's a few good matchups. But more to the point, I mean, college football's been doing this forever. Real games. You don't have any preseason games. You just go. It's just like go for it. You know.
Well, they get even less practice than NFL.
Yeah.
Because they're students and they're limited.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I know what you mean. We don't need 4 games. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
That's a lot of extra revenue to cut off, though, because those
yeah.
games sell 50, 60, 70,000 tickets at full price.
Which is ridiculous. It speaks
totally
to
ridiculous.
us being horrible human beings.
No, that's not fair. Hang on a minute. When you buy a season ticket package for the NFL, they require you to buy the preseason games. It's not on people, the season ticket holders. This is on the owners.
No, it's on the season ticket holders.
No.
Sure, it is.
How?
Because they're buying the damn tickets.
They're encouraging the behavior.
They're enablers.
I guarantee you, if an NFL fan base went to the owner as a unified group and said, "Hey, here's the 30,000 season ticket holders. We don't want to pay for the preseason games." Guess what changes? The ticket policy. I guarantee you.
Well, then
It's
why
on
aren't
the
people
season
doing
ticket.
it? If everybody
that
hates
would,
it, why
that would
why-
require effort. Hence my comment about us being horrible human beings.
some Donald Trump logic there.
Very true. Very true.
Matt, we haven't heard about what your thoughts are.
My thoughts. Well, I kind of summed it up in the beginning, but
But you're wrong, so Change your
I'm
idea.
wrong. People are gonna hate this, but I do kind of like the idea of going to 2 games. And what I would do is the first game is all the rookies that were drafted or undrafted, and any other players with less than 2 years experience in the league. or anyone who's in danger of, not making the roster. And then game 2 would be the one game that all the starters get to get in the flow of things. The offenses need timing. The timing needs to be worked out. Obviously, they'll have other practices and stuff, the camps and so forth, but they'll get one game to go.
Well, okay, isn't the first preseason game already a game for the rookies and whatnot?
The fourth
Not
one is
always.
now. I mean, so
Nobody plays more in a series.
Well, this game they wouldn't be allowed to at all.
How would you legislate that?
guaranteed
You'd-
contracts.
Oh, I hope Roger Goodell isn't watching this. His goons would take Brent Goodwine and beat him out in the alley.
For lots of
Unfriended.
reasons.
Guaranteed contract.
Guaranteed, no.
What is this?
Isn't
NBA?
that kind of what we did with
Baseball?
Russell Wilson? For a good chunk of his contract, at least.
Yeah, okay, but it's not just Russell Wilson. If you take a look at Des Bryant's contract, he got even more guaranteed money. Ndamukong Suh got even more
It's a growing
guaranteed
trend.
money. Yeah, it's not. It's a trend. Yeah.
Eventually, they'll all be guaranteed, in theory,
And then none of them will play in preseason games.
pretty much.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Matt. That's your fix for your model.
That works.
Guaranteed
So then
contract.
cut it to 2 and guaranteed contracts.
So we've resolved preseason
Yeah.
and we created peace in the Middle East.
Seems like a pretty successful show so far.
That's a productive 45 minutes there.
Absolutely. Look at us, a bunch of humanitarians.
Oh, Roger Goodell still hates Brent Goodwin. I just got a tweet.
Good.
You're still going to watch the NFL on the TV, though, aren't you, Brent?
Absolutely.
Okay. There you go. And that's why you're a horrible human being.
Well,
It's not
on
about
that
So
note,
am I. But,
For completely unrelated reasons.
we do probably need to run a break,
Yeah.
but we're going to come right back. We'll be back in a few and have our last segment and enjoy our time with you, the fans.
All of you. Why are we upside down on this one?
I don't know why do they find that so funny. Can you type that Rich will bring us back for the last segment?
Which one's this one about?
Hang on. What was it about?
Oh, yeah, relocation.
Relocation. That's it.
What nobody cares about.
LA.
Give a fuck about basketball.
No, this is also partly LA. It's actually mostly what happens to towns when a team leaves.
We're not getting LA. I'm
Just,
sure a Seattle guy owns it.
if you listen to the goddamn show, you'd know what we're talking about. But you're over there playing with
Hi,
Periscope.
like 2 people who are watching or whoever.
No, we're down to 1. I think
Oh, 1. Hi.
I think it's me.
You're my buddy.
Oh, you might be watching us.
You're my buddy.
I'm watching you, yes. Did
Hey,
you really
Bob.
get a tweet?
How you doing?
No, you think Roger could tell
Bob?
story.
How's it going?
Oh, there's a new person on.
Oh,
Oh.
hey, new person.
Gavin
Hey.
04. They
We
gave
just
us a
got
heart.
we got a little heart face. Nice.
Welcome,
Hi.
welcome, guy, person.
Hi.
We will be okay. So I'm gonna.
Okay, so I'm going to ask about Seattle's appetite for NHL, NBA, okay.
That sounds good. All right, tell them we're gonna bring back in a second here.
All right.
Oh, the useless technologies. We have Periscope going. We have Skype going. We have a YouTube live broadcast going.
Can you bring us back here, Bob?
We have a lot of internet usage
We
going
need to
on
get
right
Periscope going on that rotating camera of yours.
That'd be pretty sweet.
now. I don't think I can, unfortunately.
Why are we upside down? And I'm holding the
Because
dog.
you are. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
And you're going unmuted. And
Hey guys, welcome back to SSU Live. Again, I'm Rich Michelson here, and I'm going to bring us into our next topic. And my topic is relocation of sports franchises in general. So we're going to start locally here, talk about Seattle. Now, everyone who's a Seattle, Western Washington, whatever you want to call us, We've been really, really done wrong by the NBA. Our franchise got stolen. We tried to do it. You had an owner come in, kind of tried to do that again. So my question I was posing to Abe a little while ago was, is there really an appetite for NBA? Is there really an appetite for the NHL? Are we going to get them via relocation or expansion? So I'm going to start things off. I'm going to throw it over to Matt. What do you think?
The honest truth is, I think we'll eventually get NHL because there is a real motivation to find that rivalry between Vancouver Canucks and a local team. And we're a big WHL team. But the NBA, I'm convinced, because the deal that we had in place was too good, they're going to constantly deny us because they want to be able to extort stadium money from the cities that they're in. So they're always going to say no to us, and they're going to hold us up as a threat. Oh, hey, I could go to Seattle. I could take the Milwaukee Bucks and go to Seattle. And then Milwaukee will panic and go, okay, we'll buy you a new stadium. So I don't think the NBA will ever really fully materialize.
So we've become the Tampa Bay of the NBA, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Brent, I'm going to throw it to you. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a really solid point. No one really wants to be the plan B, but maybe that makes us more of a candidate for an expansion team. That we don't have to steal someone else's team. That we can start fresh and have Sonics 2.0.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea. Hey, Abe, what do you think? You've been a diehard Sonics fan your whole life. What do you think about this?
Yeah, so NBA is not going to happen. Our dreams died when Steve Ballmer bought the Clippers. Steve Ballmer, a local guy for Microsoft, he moved down to LA, and when he saw the chance at an LA team, he jumped on it. So I really don't see that happening. The expansion thing, that's not happening either. The NBA is hurting. It's hurting right now. They're looking to get back up there, but they're hurting. They are right now, they have less attendance than the MLS. Their television revenues are tumbling, advertising's going. So that's going to be a real problem. NHL, our best chance, just left us. There were two expansions teams in the NHL, and this city just doesn't want to fork over money. Sorry, no NHL, no NBA in the foreseeable future, and that makes me sick.
Yeah.
So here's my question. Is it because the politicians in the Seattle area just don't want to do it? Or is it because they're justifiably gun shy about spending a crap load of money, having a contract, being, regarded as one of the best stadiums at the time, and 10 years later being extorted to fork over, $500 million to build a new one?
I'll answer that.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it has more to do with the Seattle City Council and the new mayor are timid about doing anything. If it's not something that's on their specific agenda and would require a public vote, they want no part of it. Right now, the interest in the city is, at least at a political level, is nominal. If there's going to be an NHL team, it's going to be in a different city.
Yeah.
Bellevue, Tukwila, whatever. It's not going to be in Seattle, and that's stupid.
And the NHL won't like that. They want a downtown stadium.
Oh, I think that's why we lost the expansion team, is because we had a group that was going to build in Tukwila. Okay, Tukwila versus Vegas and Montreal.
Go to Vegas and Montreal.
You go to Vegas and Montreal. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, kind of a sidebar on this. A few years ago, I believe, Abe, you had season tickets to the Seahawks, and you cashed those in. And what did you get instead?
It's a loaded question right there, if I ever heard
Yeah,
one.
sure
I
is.
went ahead and bought season tickets with the Sounders. The Sounders came here. The Sonics had just left, and the escalating price of NFL and the low price point of soccer made a lot of sense. Made a lot of sense. When the NBA left, it left a vacuum, in my sports heart.
So here's my question
I've
for
got
you.
4 chambers in my heart. One for Seahawks, Mariners, NBA, and Seattle Reign.
This metaphor, just not doing it. Brent, let's talk about that. Let's talk a little bit about the vacuum that MLS has stepped into, at least in Seattle, but also like across the country. There are going to be up to 24 teams here. The NBA only has 30, and MLS wants to grow even more, and they're growing really fast. What do you think?
Oh, who are you asking?
Oh, Brent.
Sorry, yeah.
What do
Yeah,
you
it's totally-
think? Are you accusing me of something?
It's totally taken off, and it's really nice to see the MLS do well in my home state of Utah, a state that's not going to have a lot of professional teams because, for one, you can't have a team that plays on Sunday there. But yeah, it's really nice to see it grow so fast and become a really popular thing and get their own stadiums funded and everything. It's great to see.
Hey, Rich, Brent, you guys are Utah boys. Tell me, in Utah, is there a huge soccer crowd, or maybe they're international fan?
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
I'll tell you, like, my loyalties are with the Sounders first and foremost, but 20 notches down, I go to Real Salt Lake games and I root for them, and it is a lively crowd. It's 20,000 people, so it's not the biggest stadium, but it is loud. It's exciting. They know. I mean, these fans are intelligent. They know all the players' names. They know who they are. They know what their strengths and weaknesses are. I mean, they're pretty mild crowd in general, but they're very passionate about their soccer, and they love the fact that the first championship in professional sports for the region was won by Real Salt Lake a few years ago.
Who's the audience there? Who are the fans? Like here in Seattle, it was really basically hipsters. And you
Sure.
can tell we got 40,000 hipsters every weekend.
Well, they have the hipsters there too, but a lot of their soccer fan base comes from kids who've gone on missions to Europe and South America, to all these countries where soccer is huge, and they fall in love with the sport when they're on their 2-year religious mission. So when they come home, they bring the love of the sport back with them, and it's just naturally translated over into the local team.
Yeah, there's I'd say that tons of most of the people that are there are families of some sort. They got teenage kids that are playing soccer, or they got little kids that are indoctrinating in soccer. I mean, you see for every hipster, you see at least 1.5 families.
Okay. And a large Hispanic community too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good mix of soccer fans here, and we could use a few more chanting fans. They're like I said, they're kind of a mild crowd. They're not nearly as raucous as what you get up in CenturyLink. So I'm going to spread this a little bit wider. We have expansion happening broadly with or not expansion, sorry, relocation being threatened in the NFL. So let's talk about this. St. Louis, Oakland, San Diego, they all want to go to LA. What's going to happen, guys? Abe, I'm going to throw it to you.
Okay. There's the what I want to happen and what's probably going to happen. What's probably going to happen is St. Louis and the Chargers, San Diego go. That irritates the heck out of me. I think the only team that should go to LA is the Raiders. Everybody that's not wealthy in LA loves the Raiders. When you go down to LA, they're all wearing Raiders gears and hats and whatnot.
They just
And
like the colors.
just black.
Black and silver. It's a pretty
silver
good
and
color
black.
scheme. I mean, I still hate them, but it's a pretty good color scheme.
It is a good color scheme. Okay, but I feel for the people of San Diego who may lose the Chargers. That team has been there for 50 years?
Yep.
Well, it actually started in LA. They
Oh.
played a year in LA to start. They
Oh.
were the LA Chargers for 1 year.
Well, then screw them. They can go back to LA.
Well, how many teams have failed in LA? This is why I hate NFL owners. There's been multiple teams try to make it in LA. They all fail, and this is where you're wrong again, Abe. The Raiders should stay in Oakland.
What?
They have the history there. They did win one Super Bowl in LA, but they have great history in Oakland. The people in the Bay Area love them, and you can't give the Bay Area over to the 49ers. So
Let me tell you another dimension. The reason why Oakland should stay is because if they leave the Athletics Coliseum, the networks associated, whatever that piece of junk is, then the Oakland Athletics get to void their contract and leave Oakland. Screw the Oakland A's. They have to stay there. They have to like it. So the Raiders better stay there. But the Chargers are definitely going north to LA.
I would think you guys would advocate anybody trying to leave that ghetto of Oakland do better for themselves.
Not the A's. No. No.
well, and
We don't want the A's to win 26 world championships with Billy Beane as the GM because he's smarter than all the other GMs. I think he's proved it pretty distinctly because he has no money to work
had a
with.
revenue stream from a
Exactly.
brand new stadium in San Jose.
Yeah.
well, speaking of a new stadium, they really do need one. That's the worst stadium in two sports.
Uh-huh.
They've had fecal problems in the locker room. This isn't a
Yep.
joke. It's a shitty stadium.
Yeah, they've had sewage backed up in the locker rooms. Yeah. It's pretty bad.
It's time to get a new one.
Well, Oakland won't make them one.
So I want to ask you about that, about failing in Oakland, or not in Oakland, sorry, in LA, Brent. Why do you think that the teams actually failed? Do you think that they really did fail from a financial perspective, or was it just a pure money grab? Hey, St. Louis built us a nice new Shaney Stadium. Hey, Oakland, we're going to go back up there. You give us tons of tax concessions.
Right. Well, the Raiders leaving LA in the 80s, that really wasn't anything to do financially. That was all Al Davis just giving a big middle finger to the NFL. But the Rams leaving for an even worse stadium in a worse city, it just doesn't make a lot of sense for them to come back now. I know that their owner would really like it, but there's a lot of other good things to do in LA besides go to a mediocre football game.
All right. Well, I'll give you my take here, and then I think we're going to wrap up for the night. But here's the thing. The fans in LA are the worst. The worst sports fans in the world.
Tell us how you really feel.
You have
to start.
one of the two best baseball stadiums in the universe in Dodger Stadium, and you can't arrive before the fourth inning and you leave by the seventh. I know that traffic sucks in LA, but come on, if you're a fan, you're a fan. Traffic sucks in Seattle, and we still get there on time. We don't leave early. So, I mean, they're terrible fans. They don't even sell out all the games to the basketball teams they have there. They don't sell out all the games to the football teams they have there for the college football. I'm super skeptical, and here's my other prediction, my take. No football in LA next year because the NFL can't get its head out of its ass. That's all we have for
today. Hold on.
All right, Matt. What do you want to do before we wrap
I just
up?
want to say you try and sell out the Rose Bowl, okay?
100,
Every game, the regular season.
110,000 seats.
Like 120.
Whoa. LSU, they sell out their games. Tennessee in
Ohio
college sell out
State.
their games.
Ohio
Dallas
State,
Dallas
Georgia,
Cowboys sell out their
Florida.
stadium.
But there's literally nothing else to do in the South besides
That's
play
true.
football and watch
They don't have a
football.
cool beach and, I don't know, Disneyland, I guess.
Yeah,
You
there's
mean
a lot to
Florida
do.
doesn't have Disneyland or a
No.
cool beach?
No.
Okay, all right.
They have Disney World and nice beaches. But anyway, hey guys, it's been great chatting with you here. To all of our viewers, my name is Rich Michaels. We have Abe DeWeese, Matt Page, Brent Goodwine here, and I'm on behalf of everyone here at SSU Live. Thank you so much for watching us. Check us out on our website, seattlesideup.com. Check us out on Twitter at right above me, right?
Right here.
at seattlesiteup.com. Each of us also has a handle, so you can follow us that way. And we'll see you next week. Thanks so much. Have a great night.
People in LA are terrible.
Not as bad as Miami.
That's a great way to finish the show. LA, we hate you.